Hi, hello friends. So, good morning and welcome to this new class. And I hope you remember the topic that we are dealing with. We are dealing with the topic climate. And in the last class we saw about the climatic controls. 6 factors that control the climate of India, like latitude, altitude, pressure and wind, distance from the sea, ocean currents, and relief features. All these we saw. So today we shall see them one by one in an elaborate way. We shall see what is the meaning of latitude, or how the latitude is affecting the climate of the country, and so on. So we are studying in relation with India, as well, how the climate in India is affected. Not the whole world, but about India. So you can take page number 27. The topic latitude. Let's see how the latitude is affecting the country's climate. So the Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the country. So we already said that in India the Tropic of Cancer is passing through the middle of the country. So we will find the Tropic of Cancer passing through this way. So it starts from northeast, the Mizoram, and ends in Gujarat side. So that is the Tropic of Cancer. And so we can say India is completely in the northern hemisphere. Equator is there below India, and so India is completely in the northern hemisphere. And equator is there, and above the equator we have another line that is called Tropic of Cancer. So above, yesterday we said the area above the Tropic of Cancer, that is called subtropic. So below the Tropic of Cancer and between the equator, between this Tropic of Cancer and equator, that area is called the tropic, and above the Tropic of Cancer is called subtropic. So India lying south of the Tropic of Cancer belongs to the tropical area. So Tropic of Cancer is passing through this way, and so this half of India, that is the south of this Tropic of Cancer, that means below the Tropic of Cancer, they have what type of climate? They have tropic climates. And naturally the areas that are above the Tropic of Cancer, they will have what type of climate? They will have subtropical climate. So we have two types of climates: tropical climate between the Tropic of Cancer and equator, and above the equator we have subtropical climate. So that is how the latitude is affecting the climates. So here up to the Tropic of Cancer we have one type of climate, and after the another latitude, in Tropic of Cancer we have another type of climate. Then all the remaining area north of the tropic lies in the subtropic. Therefore India's climate has characteristics of tropical as well as subtropical climates. I hope you understood. So it is the Tropic of Cancer that is dividing India almost into two halves. So below the Tropic of Cancer we have tropical climate, and above the Tropic of Cancer we have subtropical climate. So the latitude is changing the climate of a country, affecting the climate of a country. Now let us see about another fact, that is altitude. Now so far we are seeing the latitude, now altitude. Altitude means going higher. So let's see how the height is affecting the climate of our country. So we know India has got high mountains, and the average height of the mountains in India is somewhat 6,000. meters. So some areas, especially in the Himalaya mountains, some of the peaks are 6,000. Average is 6,000. Some are higher than that, but when we take average, we can say it is 6,000 meters high. And India also has got vast coastal area where the maximum elevation is about 30 meters. So some places it is 6,000 meters high, and some places if you go near to the sea, near the coastal areas, the elevation is only just 30 meters. So see the difference. Near the sea it is only just 30 meters high, and in the mountain peaks, the mountain regions, it is 6,000 meters high. So this height difference also can affect the climate of our country. And the Himalayas prevent the cold winds from Central Asia entering into the subcontinent. So we have the Himalayan mountains here, like an arch starting from Kashmir and going up to Arunachal Pradesh. And so this is very high mountain, and the cold wind that is blowing from the other side, and this Himalayan mountain is blocking it. So from the Central Asia, this cold wind comes and it is blocked here. And therefore what happens? Especially in the winter, we can say the subcontinent experiences comparatively mild winter. So if that wind is not blocked by Himalaya, then all over India would have been very cold. Even now we know in the winter season, Delhi and Punjab, all these Haryana and so all these areas are very cold. People are shivering. In spite of having this Himalaya blocking the cold wind, still people are experiencing very severe winter. So imagine then what would have been the condition if this Himalayan mountain was not there. The cold wind that is coming from the Central Asia, it would have entered easily into India, and we would have got a lot of severe winter time. So this Himalayan mountain is protecting us. So that is how the high areas can change the climate. If it was not there, India would have been very cold. We would have experienced very severe winter. So this height or the latitude is that way affecting or changing the climate of our country. Is it clear? So it is the mountain, Himalayan mountain, that is blocking the cold wind that is coming from the Central Asia and trying to enter into our country, but Himalayan mountains are very high, 6,000 plus meters high, therefore the wind is blocked there and does not proceed this side. So our country is not experiencing a very severe winter. So countries in this part, they are experiencing very severe winter because the cold wind is coming up to there. But in India we are protected by Himalayas. Then another type that is affecting the climate, another control is pressure and winds. Pressure and wind. So we know there is a lot of pressure in the atmosphere. Some places very high pressure, some places very low pressure. So where there is high pressure, the wind will start moving, or the air will start moving from that place to another place where pressure is very low. That is what we call wind. Understood? What is wind? The air starts moving from one place to another place. Then that is called wind. So why the air is moving? It is because of the pressure. Suppose this place the air becomes very hot, the pressure increases. Then this place maybe air is cold and so less pressure. Therefore the hot air will start moving from here to here, so that the pressure is reduced. So air moves from the place where there is high pressure to the place where there is low pressure. So let's see. The climate and associated weather conditions in India are governed by the following atmospheric conditions. So So the following conditions are affecting the situation in India. First of all, pressure and surface wind. So the pressure that is experienced in one place, and accordingly the wind moves, the air moves from one place to another place. Then upper air circulation. So the ground level or the lower level air will be moving, and the upper level also sometimes air will be moving above very high place. So we will not be able to feel that. Only when the air is moving the downside, we feel very cool, very refreshed. Sometimes the air is also moving at a high altitude that we may not be able to experience. Then western cyclonic disturbances and tropical cyclones. And another thing is cyclones are there. We know when there is cyclone, suddenly there is a non-stop rain for many days, heavy strong wind is there, lot of things are destroyed and so on. So these things all take place because of the movement of the air. Sometimes it is very mild movement of the air, sometimes it is very strong movement of the wind, and sometimes it becomes like a big heavy cyclone, destructive cyclone and so on. So we know India lies in the region of northeasterly winds. So the region that India is located in the earth, in the globe, it is the easterly wind. What is meaning easterly wind? The wind that is blowing towards the east. The wind that originates from here, the west, it originates in the west and it goes towards the east. That is called easterly wind. The wind that is originating in the west and it is moving towards the east. That is called easterly wind. So the region that India is laying, it is a place the wind is moving in the eastern direction. And these winds originate from the subtropical high pressure belt of northern hemisphere. So the wind that is originating in the subtropical high pressure. Subtropical means we already saw the area that is above the Tropic of Cancer, that is called subtropical. So the wind that is originating in this subtropical area of the northern hemisphere, this northern hemisphere where India is located. So this wind is originating from the subtropical high pressure belt. So that area is experiencing very high pressure, and if the pressure is very high, then we can know the wind also is very high. So always where there is high pressure, the wind will be very strong, and they blow south, get deflected to the right due to Coriolis Force and move on towards the equatorial low pressure area. So we see how the wind is moving, how the direction of the wind is moving. We said it is easterly wind starting from the west and moving towards the east. Then what happens? Then they blow towards the south. They move towards the south. Then get deflected. So after going to the south, they get deflected. That means the strength becomes less. Then they turn to the right. They turn to the right side. And due to the Coriolis Force, I hope you have studied about Coriolis Force. We have studied that the earth is rotating, is it not? So the force that is generated due to the rotation of the earth in its axis, that is called Orioles Force. So the earth is rotating, and it is because of that the wind is turning to the right side and move on towards the equatorial low pressure area. So it will get deflated, turns to the right, then turns to the equator, goes down again. it is going to the equator region. There it is low pressure. So it is coming from the high pressure area of the subtropical region, and it is moving towards the east, and then it blows towards the south, then it gets deflected and turns to the right, and then goes to the equatorial area. Why is it going to the equatorial area? Because in the equatorial region there is a low pressure. It is coming from the high pressure area and it is moving to the low pressure area. So always air will be moving from high pressure area to the low pressure area. And so generally these winds carry very little moisture as they originate and blow over the land. Therefore, they bring little rain or no rain. So these easterly winds that is originating from the west and towards east, then turns to the south and then goes to the equator. These rain are bringing very little rain or sometimes no rain at all. What is the reason? Because these winds are originating over the land and it is blowing over the land. So usually the wind that is coming from the sea, blowing from the sea, they carry lot of moisture and they will bring lot of rain. But unfortunately, these winds are originating from the land and it is blowing over the land. It is not going to the sea. Therefore, these winds are not carrying moisture. It is therefore not bringing rain, not bringing any rain at all. And hence India should have been an arid land, but it is not so. Let us see why. So if these winds that are blowing from the northern hemisphere to the equator, they are not bringing any rain or very little rain at all. So if the winds are not bringing rain, then what happens? We are supposed to be very dry. You know, we are supposed to be very dry. The land is supposed to be very dry. But we know we are getting rain. We have monsoon rain and so on. So let us see this easterly rain. Though these easterly rains are not bringing any rain to India, still we are not very dry. What is the reason? So let's just see what is this Coriolis Force. So an apparent force caused by Earth's rotation. So remember, Coriolis Force is caused by the apparent rotation of the Earth. The Coriolis Force is responsible for deflecting winds towards the right in the northern hemisphere. So we said the wind is moving this side, then turn to the right. It is because of this Coriolis Force. So because of the Coriolis Force, the wind is turning always to the right in the northern hemisphere. The wind is always turning to the right in the northern hemisphere. Then what happens to the southern hemisphere? And towards the left in the southern hemisphere. So the southern hemisphere, it is just the opposite. The wind turns to the left. So in the northern hemisphere, the wind turns to the right because of this Coriolis Force, and in the southern hemisphere, the wind turns to the left because of this Coriolis Force. So see the opposite direction. In the north, the wind turns to right, and the south hemisphere, the wind turns to the left. And this is also known as Ferrell's law. You can underline that. What is known as Ferrell's law? So what is Ferrell's law? The turning of the wind to the right due to Coriolis Force in the northern hemisphere, and turning of the wind to the left in the southern hemisphere is known as Ferrell's law. So we shall wind up for today. In the next class we shall continue to study about the different types of winds and the pressure that is created by winds and how it is affecting our climate and so on. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.